Nothing in your life may look dramatically wrong. The responsibilities are familiar, the structure still works, you're handling what needs to be handled. Uh, from the outside, things appear stable enough that it almost feels indulgent to admit how heavy everything feels. You look at your life and you know that there are people who have it harder, situations that are way worse than yours, problems that could justify collapse. And so, because of that, the weight you're carrying feels very confusing. It's hard to name, it's hard to justify, hard to explain without feeling like you're exaggerating something that shouldn't feel this way. And that's part of what makes this heaviness so difficult. It doesn't announce itself loudly. There's no clear crisis, no single event that you can point to and say, that's when things went wrong. Instead, it just shows up as this low, constant pressure, the sense of effort beneath everything that you do. You're moving, you're functioning, you're staying engaged with your life, but it just takes more out of you than it used to. Things that once felt neutral now feel taxing. Decisions feel heavier. Conversations linger longer in your body. Even rest doesn't land the way you expect it to. You may have tried to explain it away. You tell yourself, hey, it's just a busy season. You assume it'll ease up once a few things settle down. You remind yourself to be grateful. You try to reason your way out of the feeling. But the heaviness lingers even when the schedule lightens. It's there in the quiet moments. It follows you into the morning. That sits with you at night when everything finally stops moving. What you're feeling isn't laziness. It isn't ingratitude. It isn't weakness. It's just accumulation. Weight builds when responsibility outpaces relief. When your giving exceeds receiving for long stretches of time. When you're consistently managing outcomes without enough space to process what you're carrying internally. But this kind of heaviness doesn't come from one bad week. It comes from sustained competence under pressure, from staying steady while things ask more of you than they used to. People who feel this kind of heaviness are usually very, very capable. You're the ones that others trust when things matter. You absorb uncertainty so that others don't have to. You anticipate problems before they surface. You don't create drama. You don't ask for much. You adapt. You just handle it. That posture works until it doesn't. Over time, carrying this way reshapes your nervous system. So you stay alert without meaning to. You prepare even when nothing is actively happening. So your body remains engaged as if something might go wrong at every single moment. You don't feel panicked. You just feel loaded, like you're always holding something just below the surface, even when you can't name what it is. Heaviness often shows up when there's been no place to set anything down. And that's not because rest was forbidden for some reason, but it's just because rest didn't feel safe. Letting go felt like something might slip. So you stayed on, you stayed available, you stayed responsible, braced, and the longer you did that, the more normal it felt. Faith can complicate this in quiet ways. Right? You still trust God, you still believe He's present, but somewhere along the way, trust turned into quiet endurance instead of lived dependence. You stopped asking to be carried, and you started assuming you were meant to carry. And you didn't do that consciously. You just adapted to what was required. And that adaptation kept you functional. It kept things moving. It kept people supported. It just didn't come with much relief. And eventually that adaptation starts to feel like heaviness. What matters is understanding that heaviness isn't a failure signal. It's information. It tells you something inside you has been stretched for a long time without recalibration. It tells you that strength has been operating without much support. And it points to a system that's been reliable, but has never really been replenished. Now, you don't need to fix this immediately. You don't need to go overhaul your life. You don't need to perform gratitude to sort of counteract it. That usually makes the weight worse because it asks you to override what your body and soul are already telling you. What helps first is honesty, and not some crazy dramatic honesty, just simple honesty, naming that things feel heavy even if you can't explain why. Letting that be true without sitting in judgment on it. God's not asking you to power through this. He's not disappointed by your fatigue. He's not measuring your faith by how light you feel. Throughout Scripture, God meets people underweight with presence, not correction. He doesn't shame them for being tired. He doesn't rush them past what they're carrying. He sits with them in it. Heaviness often precedes reorientation. It slows you long enough to notice where your life has quietly become unsustainable. And not because you were careless, but because you were committed. Because you cared, because you stayed when it would have been easier to check out. Because you took responsibility seriously. If everything feels heavy right now, it doesn't mean you're falling apart. It may mean you've been holding things together for a long time. And that matters. It deserves attention. Not urgency, not panic, but attention. Sometimes the most faithful response to heaviness is to stop interpreting it as a problem to solve and start listening to it as a signal. And it's a signal that something in you needs support and not discipline, needs presence and not pressure. You don't have to carry this alone anymore. If you want to keep walking this out with me, I write one weekly letter for people who are tired in a deeper way. You can find it in the description below.